Okay, we're back. This is Recovered Life after the show. I've got my buddy Christy Dames who is on. We just did an amazing episode about staying sober and what you eat. Oh, thanks so much for doing the after the show, Christy.
Oh, absolutely. This is great.
I love the episode. Let me tell you, I think it made people think. It made me think. I've been down this journey for a little bit, but now we can really dial in. And you can also tell us some personal stuff too, because I'm going to ask you, like, it all sounds great. But I just told you, I said, oh, I'm still eating a bowl of popcorn at night. You went, you judged me. You did. You judged me. Come on.
Oh,
You judged me about your time and doing
that. No, I judge. I was like, oh no, how's he able to do that? But I can't. What?
That is some real alcoholic thinking right there. I give you that is awesome.
Yay!
Let's get into this. Let's really talk about, your experience, my experience with this. I know you're very pro keto, right? Like, and obviously, guys, I'm saying up front, always go to your doctor. There's some people, like I was talking to my doctor and they're like, there's some people that there are warning cholesterol signs with blockages. And so they're like, there's real things out there we don't know, right? Like, so I always say check with the nutritionist and doctor, but so we're talking about our experience here, but it is a lot of other people's experience too, right? Like this is real. This is a real thing in recovery about why people aren't happy in sobriety, I think.
Yeah, I do. I think so too. I think we are, we operate on old information that, gosh, over 50 years ago, ketogenic diet was used. It was first used for children that had intractable seizures, epileptic, right? And oh my gosh, it totally healed those kids. In fact, when I first learned about it, like 25 years ago, I wasn't able to I stepped into it in the wrong way. And I literally didn't understand how to find my way. But this guy, Jim Abrams, local here in Los Angeles, his son, who was like 1.5, 2 years old, was having 100 seizures a day. I mean, the child was not going to live. And his father was looking for everything he could, found ketogenic. They put this little boy on it, literally stopped his seizures. So now, all these decades later, this young man has a big, beautiful life. He helps tons of people. He has no seizures at all, period, and does not need to practice a ketogenic therapy diet.
Wow.
So think about that. I mean, he healed. He was cured. Like,
how do how does
that happen?
I will tell. Okay. So, and I'm going to tell you something. This is not judgmental when I say this. Okay. But one of the things I've gotten from doing the TikTok lives is people will come up and I'll talk with them. They're struggling maybe with alcoholism or drug addiction. And they have the willingness, but they're somehow blocked spiritually. Do you know what I'm saying here? And I think even if you're not doing good nutrition, you can get, I got a spiritual awakening. I was not in there, but I think it's harder because I'm noticing now that my body is getting rid of all that crap that can't really process well. The awakenings are coming to me. The insights are coming to me so much quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it, for me, I've been, oh gosh, at least 20 years now, totally organic food, right? Like I read every label. I know everything that's hidden. I'm the overachiever on that front, because anything that could cause that spiritual break, that inability to access my source, anything in my way, I would have to deal with. And the strange, we all have to eat, right? I mean, I would love to be a breatharian. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah. Right. But to be able to have your own power, for me, it's all about having my own power to be able to control the things that I can control. And food is one of those things. And so the ketogenic way is very interesting because that's really high fat. And in fact, if you go to the website, Charlie Foundation, and it was Charlie Abrams who was the little boy, there are 5 to 6 different ways to approach ketogenic, because some people need animal products and ghee and butter and heavy cream. Other people might only be able to function having coconut oil and MCT oil, C8 oil. But in the whole thing, Damon, there's once you're sober long enough and you're having a life and you see the life that you want to have and the one you don't want to have, right? I don't want to have dementia, Alzheimer's, I don't ever want to go there. So I don't want cancer either. So I studied all the things I didn't ever want in order to understand how to do today so that I'm not there, years from now. And literally what we know, if your brain isn't functioning and you're an alcoholic and an addict and you have brain issues from that over time.
And we do, right? Like we do. And this is the thing most people don't understand. We do have brain issues. We don't think like they knew this in the 20s. We don't think like.
Yeah. And depending on what part of the brain gets hit and is not functioning at full capacity. Wow. Right. And when ketogenic can help to start to restore the brain. And literally Alzheimer's today, the information coming back now. If you are in your 40s, early onset, come on, what is that? And people with alcohol and addiction issues are far greater, more susceptible in the long run to those kinds of things because of the damage happening in the brain. So ketogenic, super high fat, like mostly high fat, with some moderate protein and very low carb, that's going to switch you from operating on a glucose system in your body to a fat system. And it doesn't happen overnight. If you have to lose weight, you will absolutely lose weight. Whatever you need to work with, you can moderate that whole program, how you want to do it by watching your own body, becoming your own detective, right? But it's key. Because restoring that brain health without having to take all kinds of things, right? Allowing the body to operate. That's the beauty right there.
Yes.
The body's own operating system.
What was the hardest thing for you to give up? Like, what is, you're like you are an all or nothing, right? Like, so you're like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. It's over. Like, I was like that way with alcohol, although I struggled mentally with it because, you were there. I was not, I did not relapse. I've been very fortunate. I have not relapsed in 31 years, but food is different because you said, okay, we got to eat it. We have to eat it. And it's in everything. Like I realized like, oh, I can't even have a little of this tomato sauce because it's all sugar. Like I can't have that.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to make me feel good. What was the thing you struggled the most with?
Oh gosh. Literally, it would be convincing myself that a high starch whole food was good for me. Like a potato.
Yes.
Potato, stop right there. And it wasn't like I could give up the cakes and cookies and all that like that. There are so many aspects to that kind of food that are bad that, it's way more than sugar and starch. There's so much packed in that kind of an item. I could give that up. I knew that wasn't working, but wow, giving up the corn. Oh, like,
yes, that's my hard part right now.
Oh,
the
corn, any kind of corn, right? And I knew years ago, and here's an interesting story. I was like 20. My best friend, we went to Europe for like 2.5 months. So I went over with her, and I'm a totally normal weight. I come back. We hiked, we backpacked 2.5 months in Europe. We went to 10 countries. It was insane. Best time ever. I gained 40 pounds. Like, what? Like, how do you do that? I'm 20 years
Pasta.
old. I'm 20, right? So I was flipped out. Well, at that point in time, it was eating baguettes. It was eating cheese. It was eating croissant, drinking wine, drinking beer in Germany, drinking anything, right? So that's what I lived on. I came back just a mess. Well, like I wasn't going to stick with that. I go back to college, and somehow I figured it out. I said, I'm going to eat no starch carb at all. And I didn't. And I ran every night. I ran track every night. I ate like bacon and eggs, and right, that's the food that I ate then. And literally, I went back to a weight that was perfect, that I had never even been at. Totally felt great. It was amazing. But I always look at that experience like, how could that even happen to somebody? Well, it did. And I already had metabolic issues then. And once I got sober, I had plenty more to deal with. So there's always the precursor and then the actuality, right? Like, how metabolically solid are you already when alcohol and drugs and all those things do the big hit? One other thing I just got to say, vitamin B1. Oh, vitamin.
And how has that helped you? How has B1 helped you?
That has been a game changer, because B1. So if you are an alcoholic and a drug addict, anything addiction related, you will literally use up your B1 stores. And B1 is used up. It's the most critical B vitamin that if you're eating carbs, that's going to eat it up. So alcohol, drugs, and high carb diets completely eat your B1. Well, over 250 enzymatic things happen in the body just with B1, just with that. And there's a beautiful woman. Her name is Dr. Chandler Mars. She's a researcher, and this is what's beautiful. The research she did with a guy named Dr. Derek Lonsdale. He is a doctor. He just died at the age of 95. He brought back research that had been done, again, decades ago, that was lost, hidden, put away, whatever. He brought that back, and they worked on a book that is just powerful. And it's all about just B1 and alcohol, fatty liver disease, looks like beriberi, looks right, all these things.
Yes.
But going back, and I suggest this to anyone, look at the research that was done before. Look at the doctors, researchers, practitioners, people like me who find the people who are unearthing and bringing that back. Then you have way more data to work with. Bring that to your healthcare practitioner and say, what do you know about this? This seems to be where I am. This is what's happening to me. How can we work with this? Right? And then you're empowered yourself. And they may know nothing about that research. So you're going to educate them and then find your way.
I think so much of this, we talk a lot about getting sober: awareness, willingness, and then massive action. That's my thing. I'm the massive right. Okay, now we're going to take some massive action here. And sometimes massive action is just, for many people, it's going to a 12-step meeting or going to a therapist or checking themselves in a detox, right? That it might seem small, but it's big for somebody who is suffering from addiction. Yeah. I think the thing that I've started to realize is I'm not as far down the road with you, but I'm seeing the benefits already. Like I told you, I have this popcorn thing I do every couple nights, right? But what I'm learning is that it's the same thing it's awareness. Like, that's how I became, it's like, well, I'm really, wow, that's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of, like, oh, okay. Like, not, I didn't freak out about it, but I was like, okay, you know what? I'm aware now about what I'm eating, where before I was less aware. I didn't really, honestly, I just was not aware. I just was not aware. I knew that maybe it wasn't great, but I wasn't really aware. I wasn't looking at labels. I wasn't making decisions from the awareness. So I really couldn't become willing because I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah. Well, and you know, sometimes it's just so hard. It can be so overwhelming with everything happening in the world outside all the time, right? And I know for me, you know, my driver is suffering. Okay, that's that at the end of the day, my driver for anything is suffering. And I've been through a lot of it. I mean, my physical body, I stopped alcohol 37 years ago. But my body did not just snap back. I mean, I've had a lifetime of I have to work every day at staying alive every day. Like, I didn't get sober and it was a cakewalk. Did not happen for me. Pink cloud, I have no idea what that is, except I've seen it in others and it's great. I'm like, wow, where was that? Unfortunately, when the pink cloud gets ripped away, then boom, you're kind of sucker punch. But for me, it was that driver of not suffering. And that led me down a million roads. And that led me down the place where I look at addiction, all the A's, addiction, autism, Alzheimer's. I mean, autism to Alzheimer's, you can put a label. I don't care about those labels. I don't care at all. I look at way back behind that. What are the pieces? What are the causes? What happened to make this happen? One of the things that always, and you know this about me, makes me just crazy. So trauma is a big deal. Trauma as a kid is a really big deal. Trauma before the age of 4, when we're in a total emotional state, before we start to really think, we're still under our mother's energy field, for good or bad sometimes, right? I know stories about moms that are beautiful and stories that are horrific. But people think and act as if every drink they took was the drink they took. And I always say to them, what if you are drinking somebody else's drink? What if you are experiencing something else completely different? And those traumas change us biochemically in the body. So every time there is one, could be a car wreck, could be a bike accident, could be a surgery, could be an illness, it could be all kinds of things. Those things end up changing us biochemically. And so for me, alcohol was the perfect elixir to sew up my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual loose ends, because I had had so many traumas. I was in a million pieces. Alcohol was like the uber elixir. And it was like, oh, feels good. All right, I'm back. Right. And I could navigate until all those, you can't navigate for long that way. And so that's always been important. Like, people, we could look at ourselves like, oh no, I'm bad. I'm this, I'm that. I'm not enough. I'm too much. But at the end of the day, we're all people striving for that deepest experience of being alive. And that, that's the key. And whatever that driver is for you, if it's suffering, then let that take you to teach you. Because I tell you, I made it my mission. I was not going to suffer my whole life. That was my mission. And I was going to know every single thing that was in my way. And I was going to help people along the way. I wouldn't always have the answer. And sometimes I did. But other times I would be able to deliver massive keys that they couldn't see in order for them to go find their way. And that's the clarity that we get being sober. That's the beauty. It doesn't always feel good, does it? Right? It doesn't always feel good. I mean, recently I was like, God, I am so tired of feeling everything. I don't want to feel anything else. Right. And at those moments, I can say alcohol. I mean, I can have that conversation where I go, God, I would really like a gin and tonic right about now. And just to feel the not feeling part, just to breathe out. But I'm not going to do it. I'm committed to a way of life that does not allow me to do that. And I don't have the same alcohol story as everybody else. I don't have that same story at all. So for me, I could convince myself, oh, well, maybe I could just have that because, there are a lot of factors at the end that brought me down. And so, yeah. So it's the path, right? And being sober is a commitment. And I'll tell you, the most courageous people I know are people that are walking that path. It's powerful.
Thank you so much for coming on and doing this after the show. We're gonna have to have you back because people are gonna demand it. I'm just gonna tell you right now. So thank you so much. We're gonna put links on how to.
I love it.
I'm so glad.
You are a super uber mensch.
Thank you. Hold on one second. We're going to end this after the show. Thank you guys. Please comment down below. She'll also be looking at that stuff and hopefully answering some of the stuff there. Any questions that people have. Thanks so much again for coming on.
Thanks, Damon.